Hey guys, this is Ray and I'm out here performing a cleanup on aisle 385. This is a can of Coors. You can tell it's kind of an older can of Coors. Might be considered a relic by some standards. And yet it's made out of recyclable aluminum, so it can be repurposed back into the system if it is collected and transported properly. Anyway, I spotted this from the roadside, and to avoid any kind of conflict, even though, here, let me show you a clearer picture. I'm sure someone will show up probably like right when I start doing this, but then again, maybe not. Can't tell if you can see that, but this is from people just throwing glass bottles out here, you know, while they're driving. It's another thing that kind of reinforces for me why I'm not a fan of alcohol. It makes people kind of drop their, what is it called? Their inhibitions. And some people in private would do something different than they do in public. I'm gonna try to walk backwards so you can see the Sierra and the Jeep. So to throw things in a home of someone else who you're visiting is kind of a sin, you know? To not care for something that has been bestowed upon you to care for, even temporarily, is almost like if someone loaned you something, or if you loaned someone something and it came back to you or got back to them in different condition. Who's responsible for that? So, who gave us this country, and who's responsible for the condition this country is in? I'll venture to say that it's us who are responsible for this country. And if anyone's going to pick it up, it's not going to be a vote that makes the change. It's going to be the actual change that occurs, the people that are doing these things that we vote on. Anyway, finally a car is coming. It's been a slower than usual season out here in Big Bend. I'm glad that I was able to record that whole scene for you without any kind of weird interruptions. I hope you have a great day. I hope that you continue to sponsor the actions of the few who are actually doing the work, rather than continue to support with so many hard-earned dollars these people, what a phrase, huh? These people who wouldn't care about the homes that we're in and the homes that we share with one another. There are some people who absolutely do not care, and it's apparent. But you know what? It's because they haven't been taught. So, forgive your enemies and help them to learn what it is that makes you think your friends are so cool. What it is that makes people think makes other people think that you're so cool. You have to continue to inspire one another. That's all that we're doing here. We're inspiring one another. Whether I'm inspiring you or bringing you down, it's almost completely up to how you see me. And how you see me might be a little bit programmed. From my very skin color to the words I use, you know, that make me fit in different ways than some people who might have my skin color or my, you know, my fabulously luxurious long hair that is silky smooth. You can try to tell me that you don't want to laugh and just be mad at me, or you can absolutely see that we're trying to smile together and trying to learn something in a situation during this era that none of us has endured before. So, if I were to vote on anything for anything about anything, I would, oh, you got to see this. I hope to God I captured some of that. The camera is facing me right now, so whatever showed up on the screen is gonna be dumb luck or fate, whatever you want to say. YouTube has a weird algorithm, apparently, and so does Facebook, in terms of what people see and what people share and what people participate in. So I'm going to ask you to help me, someone you probably don't know or might not care to know, or maybe you do care to know me. Maybe you already do. And if you already know me, then you know that I left my corporate career at least 3 years ago. From that point in time, I have not been earning any kind of an income. I've just been trying to show the things that I'm seeing in nature in a way that's inspiring. And so far, I've encountered so many difficulties that I know I'm on the right path, because in order to get where you're going, you have to resolve a lot of things. And the difficulties I was running into helped me to resolve a lot of things with relationships, with friends and family, that I hadn't been able to resolve in a long time. Maybe because they didn't hear me or because I didn't hear them. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is that we had communication. We communicated, and communication is key. Here comes another one of those guys. Did you see that? It's one of the coolest beetles I've ever seen. I don't even know what that was. There aren't too many. The whole reason I'm walking around here during this semi-early portion of the day is to tell you, in eras past, when I walked around or drove on these vast expanses of highway and land that are available to us as part of our shared stewardship, I would see so many animals that it was almost like something that many of us would take for granted. Now, if you've ridden along with me in the past and you got to have one of those amazing wildlife days, and then if you've seen what I've posted recently and you've been able to see what I've seen recently, which seems like amazing wildlife days, you might be a little bit surprised when I say our wildlife is struggling right now. You may not believe it because of all the things I showed you. You may not believe it because of how happy I was when I showed you that fun beetle. But I'm telling you that in all of this walk, here's another one of these green beetles that's just hovering by this plant. I don't know what, I see a lizard finally. That's exactly what I was coming out here for, to show you and to say. I had a lizard just run towards the Chisos Mountains. These are the Chisos Mountains of Big Bend National Park. If you've never been here, you're missing out. If you've never been here with a true fan, you're absolutely missing out. That'd be like watching the Bulls play without Michael Jordan or something, you know? And I've seen so many fans out here who have inspired me in the same way that maybe the Michael Jordan of basketball would inspire others to take the torch and do something. But a lot of us aren't doing anything, and that's absolutely true, and we know it. Which is why when I say things like this, you get conflicted and you start thinking, God, this guy is so arrogant. Am I? Am I really arrogant? Or am I just stating the obvious in a way so that some of us who are arrogant can go, hey, even though that guy recognizes me, I guess there's room to change. Here comes that beetle. It's really cool. I've never seen something with shiny green shells flying and hovering like that for so long. That was beautiful. So, got a little bit of a walk to get back to where I just came from. The main reason I stopped was to tell a short story that I hope tells you a little bit more about me. I've heard a lot about you. Maybe we haven't slowed down enough for me to hear everything and to learn, you know, all the dates that are important and all the celebrations that need to happen and all that. But let me be the first to suggest that during this era, we need to stop thinking about celebrating and start thinking about people cross these vast landscapes just to have a slice of what it is that we have taken for granted, that we've all been entitled to since birth, you know? I might have pledged allegiance to something, but nothing trumps the allegiance to this land that we were given. This is from our mother, from Mother Nature. If Dad was mistreating Mother, I'm more than certain that I would stand up for my mom. I'm prepared to, always. So if any of you built like wrestlers, built like whatever, want to come out and take a stand against me, let's do it. But I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, I think we can resolve all of this verbally, right off the bat. If we just looked around and said, Ray, are you serious? You walked around that long on a late September day where the sun wasn't like, it's like, I'm glistening. It's just the right temperature for lizards. And I'm not misrepresenting these statements. I guarantee you, these animals that I should be seeing right now, it's not just because I'm talking. These animals that I should be seeing right now, I'm not seeing them. That should make all of our fathers take pause. And that should make our mothers think about their children and go, if we're not protecting the other people's children, we're not protecting our own children. What kind of a life is that? Where we don't look out for one another. What kind of a life is that where we're only angry at one another? What kind of a life is that where people mishear what is being said? Because we're so programmed to think in terms of fear. Are you afraid? I'm not. I'm a little concerned that I saw just one lizard during this whole walk in one of the most lush landscapes that I've ever been to in my whole life, aside from Hawaii, and only seen one lizard during this far walk. You heard more cars passing by so far than you saw lizards, you know, but some things are coming back. The green beetles, I saw at least 4 of them while I've been walking around so far. I've seen a couple of butterflies flutter by. There are definitely a lot of birds looking for food as well. With all the things that are missing, I'm concerned. Concerned for my brothers, my brother animals, my sister animals. And that concern runs all the way to us. So when I have concern for wildlife and nature, that means I have concern for you and me. It's not a fear, it's a concern. It's an awareness, is a better word. So now that I've brought awareness about Big Bend National Park and how I've sang songs that say goodbye to Corona, I think I'll have a Coors instead, and how I tried to make something that makes people smile, and how I've just absolutely run into a lot of hate in return. Maybe not hate, anger and fear. Because what I say comes out in just the right way. Just the right way for you to hear and for me to hear. But mostly it comes out in the right way for us to talk together about these things. So here I am, I'm Ray. I'm in Big Bend National Park. This is US 385. I found a relic from the past that I'm going to put back into operation somehow. And yeah, you know, we've got the facilities to do these things. We're able to convert things like large-scale warehouses into repurposing centers where we all can still have the same jobs we had before, if not better, because each job is returning hope to the environment again. Or we can continue to, we can just keep voting on things, you know? Voting is great. Actions are greater than words. Voting is words. I just had a dove fly over. For all the people who I've talked with, this is for you. Every time I've sat with you, every time we've driven together, every time we've hung out, and I've said, hey, always when I say something important, a bird flies over. Now that birds are more scarce or more challenging to see, I'd have to say it's more than a sign whenever we have these things happen that make us cross paths together and see one another. We're seeing one another for a reason. I can really use your help monetarily, the way this system operates. I can't vote the same way as your parties can vote. My party ran out of funding. I'm like the A team, and I only get what I need for completing my work, which is fine. That's all I ever want. It's all anyone could ever hope for, is to have what they need to complete their work. If you need to relax and entertain yourself, that's great, but the world needs a lot of help right now. I sure could use your help. Please hear me loud and clear and follow through with your actions. Review my prior catalog. Inspire me to be happier so I can sing a happier song. But more than that, look out for Mother Nature. Look out for each other. Look out for yourself. How we treat ourselves is oftentimes how we treat others. It's that simple. If I get mad at myself over and over for things that I've done in the past, all I can do is judge others so that I can continue to avoid mending my own past. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to show you one final desert scene. I've seen a few of these guys walking around. Usually we'd see, dozens upon dozens every mile. Now I've seen 4 for the whole trip so far. Here's a shadow of remnants of the past from Big Bend National Park, where once things were flourishing no matter what season or temperature it was, because this place is so vast. So many levels of ecology or ecosystems, or both, whatever, that there are pockets of wildlife flourishing in places we never would have thought, and as crazy as it gets, there are pockets of temperature variances here that you might not have thought of. For an example, Big Bend National Park has hot springs, and on those hot springs are climates where the ground is hotter than the surrounding area. One time I was in Yellowstone National Park, and we got to see a bull snake. It was like 40 degrees outside, and the bull snake was happy as a clam hanging out on the geothermal vent till it got to right where the water was coming out, where it was really hot. Then it backed off. Anyway, on that note, here's a little sign for somebody. I don't know what it means, but I know it's for somebody. Have a great day. Peace.